Welcome to Toyota Essentials. During this quick course, you'll learn a little bit about the history of Toyota and how their vehicles became known as the #1 automobiles on the road today. You'll also learn a little bit about Southeast Toyota and what that means to you. To start the class off, we like to start with our favorite quote, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it," Jim Moran. Later along in this course, you'll know Jim Moran. You'll understand who he is and why he's such an inspiration to Southeast Toyota and eventually, hopefully, to yourself. But ultimately, this quote means a lot to us because it's what you're doing right now. And we really do appreciate you taking the time to really invest in your knowledge of Toyota and its products so that you can express that value to your guests. Because when you truly do prepare for your future, you can be as successful as you want to be. The sky truly is the limit. When you talk about Toyota, you first want to start with the Toyota logo. It's on the front, back of every vehicle that we sell. It's all over your dealership. But what does it really mean? What does it really represent? To begin, the three ovals form the letter T for Toyota. The small overlapping ovals that make up the T represent relationship and trust, especially the relationship and trust that Toyota has with its customers. The larger surrounding oval represents the unlimited potential for Toyota and the technology that it continues to create. Furthermore, Toyota has a very specific way or culture. Its culture is a set of principles and behaviors that really help us focus on continually improving ourselves and our product while simultaneously having a very true respect for people and our guests. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the history of Toyota and its heritage.
Toyota Motor Company's 75-year history begins in a way that many would never have guessed. We began not as an automotive company, but as a textile company, Toyota Automatic Loom Works. How, you might ask, did a loom company turn into the industry leader that Toyota is today? The core elements of the Toyota production system, TPS, began in 1924 when Sakichi Toyota invented the world's first fully automatic loom, with the built-in capability to stop when the thread broke, eliminating defects. 2 years later, Toyota Automatic Loom Works Limited was established. Here, through Sakichi's concept of continually improving his loom, the company was able to build quality into the process, eliminating defective products and associated wasteful practices, which led to improved productivity and work efficiency. During a trip to the United States, the American automobile industry captured Sakichi's attention, and he was inspired to develop a Japanese automobile for the masses. Partnering with his son, Kiichiro, who was also a man of great vision, they invested heavily in research and development. In 1933, Kiichiro established the automobile department with just 3 staff members in a corner of the Loomworks plant. And after only 5 years of research and development, the Toyota vision was realized with the production of the A1 sedan in 1936. 1 year later, the Toyota Motor Company Limited was established, and a new plant dedicated exclusively to automobiles was built in what is now called Toyota City, Japan. Toyota started selling vehicles in the U.S. in 1957 out of a dealership in Hollywood, California. Our beginnings in the U.S. were not great. The first vehicle sold was the Toyopet Crown, which didn't have enough power and overheated on American highways. Early sales were poor. In typical Toyota fashion, we went back to the drawing board. In the meantime, we continued to sell the Land Cruiser, and in 1965 brought the Corona to the U.S. At $1,860, it was slightly more than the VW Beetle, but had twice as much power and was more comfortable. It was a huge success.
Looking back through Toyota's history, it's impressive to think that we began in 1957. As you heard in the video, the first year of sales weren't that great, with 288 vehicles being sold. But by our 10th year in the United States, we had become the #3 import brand. And by 1972, we had sold 1 million vehicles. In 1989, Toyota introduced Lexus, its Highline brand, to bring a little bit more of a premium feel to the Toyota family. In 1996, Toyota certified used vehicles were introduced. Later on in your course, we'll discuss the Toyota Certified Used program, so you'll feel comfortable talking about it with your guests. In 2004, Toyota created Scion, with the goal of bringing in young individuals so that later in life, when they were ready for bigger family vehicles, they would already be a part of our Toyota family. And then in 2008, Toyota became the #1 automotive brand in the United States. Now we're going to discuss the Toyota production system. The Toyota production system is a world-renowned production system. It's built really off of this idea of creating the highest quality product at the lowest cost possible and making sure that we get the vehicles to our dealers and especially our guests at the right time. The Toyota production system created this idea of just-in-time manufacturing, which is utilized by thousands of companies all over the world as we speak. A part of the Toyota production system, though, are 3 cornerstone ideas, and we're going to go over those now.
The fundamental definition of Kaizen is continuous improvement. So one of the principal teachings of Taiichi Ohno, who was the founder of the Toyota production system, was a statement that said, at Toyota, there is no work without problems. So Kaizen is basically our sincere effort to uncover what those problems are and implement countermeasures so that we can continuously improve.
The idea of Kaizen really is about just continuous improvement. When we talked about the Toyota Way or culture earlier, we discussed how continuous improvement is one of the principal ideas of everything that Toyota stands for. And when you go into your dealership, we really do challenge you to take this with you. Always think that I'm never the best that I could be. How can I be better? How can I deliver a better experience to Toyota guests?
The end-on actually is very complicated. And we call this, it's actually an end-on system. But when we introduce it to people, they see a cord that hangs from one team member's pitch. The pitch is the team member's space to work, and it hangs from the beginning of the team member's pitch to the end of the team member's pitch.
When the team member pulls this hand on, that lets the team leaders offline know that they have a quality issue or safety issue.
The end-on cord really just represents the idea of Toyota not letting problems go any further. Once a problem is discovered, everyone comes together, gets involved, sees the same problem, and then comes up with a really great solution. And this is one of the fundamental reasons why Toyota creates the #1 vehicle on the road.
One of the core aspects of TPS, or the Toyota Production System, is Genshin Genbutsu, which means go and see. So we don't sit in a conference room. We want to be at their process and see it firsthand so we can understand directly what the problem was.
Next up, we're going to talk about, well, where's Toyota now? And then we're going to talk about Southeast Toyota and what that means to you. When you look at Toyota's numbers, it's pretty impressive. Toyota is the #1 automobile manufacturer in the world, and you as a Toyota sales consultant represent the #1 automobile manufacturer in the world. Your vehicles are truly the #1. Toyota is the 12th largest company in the world, and they spend over $1 million per hour on research and development to help create innovative technologies and ideas that your guests can enjoy. There's over 10 plants and 9 models made within the United States. Toyota is actually the #1 automotive employer in the United States. Over 1.5 million vehicles and 1.9 million engines are produced in the United States. And combined between Toyota, Scion, and Lexus, there are over 1,500 dealerships. When you look at the relationship between Toyota, the dealership, and you, it's really important to understand how that all really fits together. So Toyota, the brand, is really just the logo that everybody sees. It represents the brand Toyota, the vehicles. All of the engineering and designing of the vehicles is done by Toyota. And they're really who regulates the quality, dependability, and reliability of our vehicles. When you move to the dealership, that's really what your community recognizes as Toyota. Your dealership is the symbol and local representation of Toyota, the brand, and their community. It's where they go to buy the vehicles. It's where they go to interact with the vehicles when they're shopping. It's where they go to service their vehicles. And your dealership really does control a lot of the marketing that goes on within your community and how your community sees Toyota as the brand. Your dealership can really affect the positive or negative image of Toyota in the community, which makes it really important to think about how you are representing Toyota in your community. But most importantly, there's you, the salesperson, and we firmly believe that nothing is possible without you. If you don't show up to work, no vehicles are sold. And if no vehicles are sold, there is no Toyota. So at the end of the day, always remember how important you are and that we truly value everything that you have to offer. People are more loyal to people than brands, and keep that in mind, because even though there's Toyota the brand and the dealership might be their local impression, ultimately what people think about Toyota resides a lot with you. So make sure that when you're discussing our vehicles with guests, that you're representing a positive image. Now you might see in this triangle down to the left that there's another little sliver in there, and it says Southeast Toyota. Southeast Toyota is who I work for. First, let's go over how did Southeast Toyota come into existence. So earlier we quoted our founder, Jim Moran. Jim Moran is also the founder of another quote that we like, that the salesperson is number one. He firmly believed that without you, nothing else would happen. Jim Moran actually started working at a gas station, and then eventually throughout his life he worked his way up the chain and owned his own dealerships. He owned the world's largest Hudson, Ford, Pontiac, and Lexus dealerships. He's the first dealer to be on the cover of Time magazine. He's in the Automotive Hall of Fame, and believe it or not, he was the first person who said, hey, let's advertise cars on television. And he even pioneered this idea of reconditioning used cars before you sold them to people so you could get the biggest bang for your buck. Right when he was about to go into retirement, Toyota reached out to him and said, hey, you want to own one of our distributorships for the Toyota brand? Hesitant but in love with South Florida, Jim Moran said, all right, let's do this. And now we are where we are today. So what makes up Southeast Toyota Distributors? Well, Southeast Toyota was founded in 1968. Our corporate headquarters are in Deerfield Beach, Florida, which is a little bit north of Fort Lauderdale. Our vehicle processing centers are in Jacksonville, Florida, Westlake, Florida, and Commerce, Georgia. And this is where the vehicles go to be processed before they come to you at your dealerships. Our parts distribution center is in Jacksonville, Florida. And the benefits of being part of a Southeast Toyota dealership is that you get a lot of unique programs and support. For example, you have a trainer like myself who you'll see in your stores at least 1 to 2 times per month, who really is invested in making sure that you're comfortable with the product and that you have all of the information that you need to supply your guests. You also have district sales managers who work really closely with your sales managers, general managers, dealer principals to make sure that you have the inventory and everything else that you need. You have a district fixed ops manager who works hand in hand with your service and parts managers to make sure that they have everything they need. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Southeast Toyota really wants to support its dealerships. It's why we exist. So just remember that you have somebody backing you up who's there to see you succeed. And if you ever need anything or have any questions, we will be more than happy to help you. But you might think to yourself, okay. Like, really? Did we need all that? The answer is yes. If you take a look at this map and you look at the 5 states that make up Southeast Toyota, which are Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, and North Carolina, you see that Toyota is the #1 brand in each of these states. And then you look across the other states in the country and you see that you might have a couple where Toyota represents. But the point is, Southeast Toyota is here to support our dealers within our 5 states to make sure that you're not just the #1 brand in your state now, that you continue to stay the #1 brand in your state. Toyota definitely has a cornerstone of quality, durability, and reliability. That's why they're known as the #1 vehicles on the road. People think Toyota and they think a smooth, quiet ride in a vehicle that could last virtually forever. When it comes to QDR, Toyota really always tries to exceed its customers' expectations. Next up, we're going to watch a video about what happens when Toyota does see a concern and how do they handle it. And most importantly, who's responsible for making sure that it's fixed?
Our team members are the owners of quality at every process. So when they identify a problem, here at Toyota, team members have the power to stop the line and ensure that no defects flow on to our customers. We have what we call quality circles. And when team members report recurring issues, we'll put all hands on deck, form a quality circle. It's made up of members of management, team members from the line, team members from other shops, and we work together continuously. Most of the time it's about a 6-week process to investigate that problem, identify a long-term countermeasure, and then make an improvement. Along the way, we're developing solid problem-solving skills as well, but we're also ensuring good quality to our customers through this concerted problem-solving effort.
The biggest takeaway from that video is that everyone is an owner of quality. It's not just up to managers and executives to make sure that problems get fixed. It's up to everyone, from the person who identifies first that there is a problem, and then making sure that everybody gets together, sees the same problem at the same time, and comes up with a really solid fix, and doesn't let the problem keep moving forward. As I said earlier, Toyota has a reputation of having a really high quality product that lasts forever. And that's because of their dedication and attention to detail and design. It's also because of the rigorous testing that these vehicles go through in development and also before they're put into the dealerships. For example, gap tolerances. If you take your business card and you hold it up to the gap of any body panel and mark the 2 lines where the gap is, and then you take those same 2 lines and hold it up to any other gap, it's the exact same distance. There are no other vehicles on the road that can say that they have that much attention to the quality and design of its vehicles. We also do one-piece body side construction. The entire side of every vehicle is one solid piece of metal, which is great for safety and durability. Toyota has a 12-hour paint process that consists of 4 different types of paint to ensure that this vehicle stays and looks good forever. And then of course there's Toyota Care, which offers 24/7 roadside assistance for 2 years and unlimited miles, as well as free maintenance for 2 years and 25,000 miles. When you're talking to people about Toyota vehicles, against any other type of vehicle, Nissan, Honda, what will, just remember that price is what you pay, but when you're buying a Toyota, quality is what you get. Thank you for taking the time to watch Toyota Essentials. If you need to rewatch the video to answer any of the questions in your participant guide, feel free. Or as always, you can contact your district training manager who would be more than happy to help you. Again, welcome to the Southeast Toyota family, the Toyota family. We're glad to have you and we're always here for your support.